Guten Tag, liebe Schüler und Schülerinnen. Heute sprechen wir über das Perfekt. Today we are going to talk about the conversational past. The conversational past is one out of two past tenses in German, and it consists of two pieces. Let's take a look at what those two pieces are. The first piece is the Hilfsverb or helping verb, haben or sein. And the second piece of that is the Partizip Perfekt or the past participle. Let's take a look at some sentences. Sie hat das Fahrrad geholt. She got the bike. Sie ist auf das Fahrrad aufgestiegen. She climbed onto the bike. Pause the video and think about what the possible rules could be for this. And when you think you might have an answer, you can restart the video and listen to my explanation. And here it is. If you look, you will notice that let me get my ink color here. Yep, got it. You will notice that your helping verb, the Hilfsverb, here is in second position, as you know all of your verbs are supposed to be, and it is conjugated. And the second thing you should have noticed is that the past participle, the Partizip Perfekt, is in last position, right here and right here. Now take a look at the past participle before you move on with the video and see what sticks out in the past participle. It looks a little bit different from the verbs that you have seen previously. What is the one thing that looks so different? When you have an answer, continue with the video. So, the past participle for regular verbs. If you said, well, there's a GE there in the past participles, that's actually the one thing that is in most past participles. Not in all, but in most past participles, you will find that GE at one part. Okay, so for regular verbs, we have the GE, and we have the verb stem, and then we add a T. So if our verb is wohnen, our past participle would be geh. Wohnen is our stem, and then the T, gewohnt. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other ones. Machen, gemacht, spielen, gespielt, stürzen, gestürzt, holen, geholt. It's wonderful when it works this smoothly, and it truly does work this well with many verbs. Okay, now let's take a look at some verbs that are a little different. Here are some separable prefix verbs. Separable prefixes, remember, we would take the prefix in the sentence and stick it to the end of the sentence. For example, runterfahren is one of our vocabulary words. Runterfahren, to go downhill or to drive downhill. This is our prefix. If we put this in the past participle, we would take our prefix, runter, we put that GE that we've learned about before in there, take our stem, which is var, and then add either a T or an EN, and in this case it is EN. And that, whether you add a T or an EN, is actually something you're going to have to memorize. So yeah, that might be a little bit more difficult to remember. Okay? And here are some other examples. Aufsteigen, aufgestiegen. Notice that the stem changes here. Runterfahren, runtergefahren. We did that already. Mitbringen, mitgebracht. Notice the the stem changes here also, and it has a T here. Okay, so there is going to be some memorizing that is going to be involved in remembering the past participles. Let's take a look at some more. There are the past participles of non-separable prefix verbs. For example, besuchen and verstauchen. Now, if we take a look at that, we're going to take the stem and we add a T or a EN. There is no GE, okay? So look at this. Besuchen, besucht, verstauchen, verstaucht. Okay? And the same is true for verbs that end in I-E-R-E-N or iren when you pronounce it. There's no GE. You take the stem and in a T. Examples: passieren, to happen, and passiert, and fotografieren, to take pictures or take photographs, and fotografiert. Okay, so, and now let's take a look at the helping verb. So we kind of know that the past participle, there are some regular ones that are going to be fairly easy, and there are going to be some irregular ones that we have to memorize. Second part, the helping verb. When do we choose haben? When do we choose sein? And the rules here are pretty easy. Haben is actually used for most verbs, for verbs that have an object. Okay. Sein is used for verbs with movement from A to B. Okay, so that would include verbs like gehen, fahren, schwimmen, anything that has a movement from point A to point B. And then there are some that it's a little bit harder to see the movement in these, so I added them. Sein forms its past tense with sein. Bleiben, to stay. Werden, to become. Wachsen, to grow. Sterben, to die. Geboren, born. Passieren, to happen, and liegen, to lie. On those, the movement from A to B is maybe not so obvious. So if it's not obvious to you, you might want to just memorize that list. Und das war's für heute. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal.